our appreciation to the teachers who trained and guided them so patiently behind the scenes.
From the household to the workplace, from schools to the streets, ensuring the safety and empowerment of women is not just a goal, it's a necessity.
Today, we gather to hear thoughts, exchange ideas, and most importantly, to inspire action.
We are honored to have with us a distinguished panel of speakers, each with a unique perspective and rich experience on the topic Women Safety and Empowerment in India. Panel discussion by senior girls.
On this Independence Day, we celebrate our nation's freedom. But I want to ask, are Indian women truly free? Can every girl in this country walk home safely at night? Can she follow her dreams without fear? To discuss this, I am joined by 6 panelists from different fields. Let's welcome a social activist, psychologist, educator, journalist, lawyer, and a women counselor. Let's begin with our social activist, Nancy Nand. We are living in 21st century, while other countries are using AI and new technologies to develop their nation, but in India, we are still fighting with old problems like dowry deaths and harassment. Do you think things have really improved, or this problem is still stronger even today?
Sadly, the problem is still very strong. In June this year, a young woman named Ratanya from Tamil Nadu ended her life because of dowry harassment. Before she died, she sent her parents an audio message saying, "I'm mentally broken. I can't take it anymore." And this is not just a one case. In Kerala and in many other states, we hear such stories again and again.
That is so sad. But why do you think these women feel that they have no one to help them?
Because they feel helpless. Society does not support them. Even the parents are there. Many girls cannot share their feelings fully. That is how a lonely woman's life can become even in her own house.
Oh, so you are saying that this is just not a crime issue, but also a problem in our families and cultures?
Yes, what kind of independence is this? When a girl has to cry for freedom even in her own house? Even in 2025, marriage life is treated like a business deal. If dowry is not enough, there is mental and emotional tortures.
Laws alone cannot stop this, right?
Exactly. We must say no to the dowry, not only in the laws book, but also in our home and hearts. A woman's life is not price to be paid. We must change the way we think.
That is so powerful. So, you are saying we need culture change, not just laws. Thank you, social activist. Now, let us hear from our psychologist, Aradhya, who counts as women. Many crimes go unreported. Why does this happen?
Thousands of our crimes go unreported because women fear shame more than justice. A girl in Bihar was molested for a month by her own relatives, but stayed silent because she knew that no one would believe her. We need to create a world where a girl can speak and can be heard. Empowerment is not just lighting a candle after a crime. It is also changing our thoughts and actions every single day.
Absolutely. A crime ignored is a crime encouraged. When a girl's silence is forced, the wrongdoer grows stronger. Next, I would like to hear from our educator Bani, who works with students daily. Do you think gender inequality is still common in India, even in 2025?
Yes, it is still very common. Even today, in many homes, schools, and workplaces, boys and girls are not treated equally. A boy is called strong, but a girl is called delicate. A boy sent to coaching classes, but a girl told to help in the kitchen.
And what happens when boys and girls come home
When one gender is given more freedom, more respect, and more chances than other. Even in workplaces, if a woman becomes pregnant, she's treated like a problem, not a person.
That is unfair. But why do you think this continues to happen?
I don't know why the girls' gym should be smaller than boys.
So, what should we do as a society?
We must stop coming and start supporting because when we lift the girls up, we lift the whole nations up.
Thank you for highlighting how inequality shapes our life from a young age. Now, let us hear from our journalist Samriddhi about another serious issue in the rise of kidnapping and rape cases. Every day, we read about them in newspaper. Samriddhi, you are a journalist. Why do you think these cases keep happening even now?
Every single day, newspapers report girls being kidnapped, abused, or raped. In one recent, very heartbreaking case, more than 100 school and college girls were sexually abused, murdered, and buried over time. Can you imagine the pain those girls must have gone through? The fear, the silence they were forced into.
But why are these girls targeted? What was their mistake?
They had no mistakes at all. Their only so-called fault was that they were born girls in a society that still does not guarantee for them basic safety. They were simply going to school and dreaming of a better future, and yet their lives were taken away.
And after such cases, what happens? Do you think society reacts strongly enough?
Sadly, no. So many young lives are lost, and the world simply moves on. Parents tell girls don't go out alone, but nobody teaches boys don't harm anyone. This is where we are failing.
So, where does the true safety begin? Samriddhi?
True safety does not begin with police stations or CCTV cameras. It begins at home. How we raise our sons, how we treat our daughters. We must teach boys a girl is not someone to follow, comment on, or control. She is not a property. She is not an entertainment.
So, you are saying that we should stop asking girls to be careful. Instead, we should ask the society to be just and respectful. Now, I would like to discuss another harsh reality with our lawyer Prerna, who works with victims of exploitation. Why do you think women are still being forced into sex trade even today?
This is one of the darkest truths in our country. Many women and young girls are being forced into sex trade. Most of the time, it's not a stranger. Sometimes it's a family member, friend, fake lover, or a relative. Sometimes it begins with a promise of a good job or a better life, but it turns out to be a trap. These women are used, abused, and then thrown away as if they don't have a heart, a soul, or a dream.
But at the same time, we call women as goddesses in our culture, don't we? How do you see that?
Exactly, that's the biggest question. In India, we name the river after women Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. We worship goddesses like Durga and Lakshmi. We even say mother is equal to God. But in the same country, women are treated like objects. We say women purity is sacred, but we never question the men who destroy it. I don't know why this double standard.
So, you are saying that instead of only worshipping statues, we must protect our living goddesses among us, our mothers, our sisters, our classmates, and our friends. Thank you, lawyer. To conclude this discussion, I now invite our Women Councillor Anjali to share her final thoughts.
We have heard so many issues today. Dowry deaths, unreported crimes, gender inequality, rape, exploitation. All this came from the same root, the way our society looks at women. We must have to change our thinking as a nation. We cannot just blame the law, the police, or the government. Change must be with each one of us, in our homes, in our classrooms, and in our communities. So stop asking girls to adjust and start asking society to respect. Every time we ignore a wrong, we allow it to grow. But every time we stand together for justice, for someone's life, empowerment is not just a speech,
spoken, we have felt. Now it is up to us, boys,